Ladies, we are in for quite a moment here. It's important to the Haitian Ladies Network that the voices of women of Haitian descent from all over the world are represented. And today, the Canada is in full force in this room. All right. And so before they come to the stage, I'm just going to say a few words about our next panelists, Dominique Anglade and Régine Chassagne. So expect to be inspired by the triumphs and resilience of Dominique Anglade, former party leader, deputy premier, and minister of economy in Canada. She will be joined on stage by her co-founder, Régine Chassagne, to share their stories that cross the intersections of friendship, business, and living a purpose-driven life. And so before we start, we want to turn your attention to the screen for a short video on our next panelists, and then I'll introduce the moderator.
KANPE, ça veut dire debout, ça veut dire c'est quelque chose de franc, c'est quelque chose qui se dit bien, c'est quelque chose d'assuré, d'assumer, avec l'idée de, toujours dès le départ, de créer de l'autonomie.
We just came back from 2 tours, like we did funeral, Neon Bible, and it was like bam, 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 bam. And then I came home and I really kind of reflected what I was supposed to do. What is it for? And I was just like, well, think about it. It has to be for Haiti. On a commencé à ramasser de l'argent pour Haïti et à faire $1 par billet pour Haïti.
Celui qui regarde Haïti de l'extérieur dira qu'il n'y a rien qui se passe de bon en Haïti. Mais moi, ce qui me motive à travers ce que je fais, c'est le fait que sur le terrain, ce que je constate qu'il y a beaucoup de progrès.
On a commencé par les femmes. Hein? Et moi, je suis contente qu'on ait commencé par ça parce que qui regarde ces femmes-là? C'est les enfants. Les enfants, c'est leur maman. Leur maman, le modèle.
M'te ka dwe on go de diri, m'pa dwe l'encore. M'ka renon bagay pour m'payer. Parce que m'ke bébête moi yo dit, m'bête pas vendre maman, même ka renon jeune pour m'vendre.
What would be ideal, in my dreams anyway, is that you see the leaders that have grown and developed in Baitouri being able to influence other locations in Haiti in building these other communities.
It's about the cycle of poverty, just like reverse engineer it into cycle of prosperity and just rolling the thing back, pushing, and make life better.
And to introduce this panel, we know we had to bring the big gun to be our moderator. We have with us the fabulous Karen André. There are not enough words to describe what she means to Haitian Ladies Network. She's a co-founder of HLN, a brilliant political strategist, a sought-after speaker, and will moderate this extraordinary signature panel, HERStory. So let's give a warm welcome to our sister, Karen André. KANPE!
Hello. Hi, family. We are reunited. It's good to see all the beautiful faces. I saw Brooklyn, Miami, Boston, Atlanta, Montreal, Las Caguabas. So good to be home. Thank you to my sisters of Haitian Ladies Network. Let's give them a round of applause. They're all working on 1 hour sleep. And thank you to the handsome gentlemen that have been supporting us all this morning. It's my honor to hold space with two amazing rock star women that are going to come to the stage and light you up with inspiration, leave you motivated, and leave your power ignited. So without further ado, I'd like to bring to the stage Madame Dominique Anglade, and I will explain as she comes out the powerhouse, this political powerhouse from Canada, coming out here. We are representing the whole and full diaspora. Bring Dominique Anglade out. She is a political powerhouse as a former party leader in Canada, Deputy Premier of Quebec, Minister of Economy, worked in corporate America, and has broken all the glass ceilings and slayed all the boys' rooms. So we're gonna have a great conversation. Welcome, Dominique.
Merci.
And next, we have a literal rock star, a Grammy Award-winning, Juno Award-winning, Brit Award-winning, indie rock multi-instrumentalist rock star by the name of Régine Chassagne, co-founder of Arcade Fire. If you've never heard of them, get on YouTube and Google very quickly and enjoy the sonic influences. Welcome, Régine.
Hey.
I know, get the energy out because it's going to be a party.
Yes.
So ladies, let's get to it. Your bios are so long and interesting. I just want to talk a little bit to make sure I understand correctly. So Dominique, vous semblez aussi une jeune fille de 20 ans, mais entendez que vous êtes former ministre de l'économie et député premier of Québec. C'est vrai?
C'est pas menti, non?
C'est pas menti? OK. On va continuer. First black woman to lead a provincial party in Canada. Is that right? Did you know? When you come to Haitian Ladies, listen, don't miss it. Dominique's ability to drive transformational change is profound and is rooted in both her organizational training, but also her passion and her intensity for life and for service. She not only has worked in the highest levels of government in Canada, but over her career, Dominique, You held a variety of leadership roles in manufacturing at Procter & Gamble and at McKinsey Institutes, the famed, well-known management consulting companies. Now, I don't need to tell you all that these are all very male-dominated rooms and industries, and this girl power, feminine power, woman has been breaking doors and slaying and leaving the doors open for other women for decades, even though she looks like she's 20. Let's give that a round of applause. And also, you've been a CEO of Economic Development at Montreal International. And you are also, which we'll get to later, co-founder of KANPE with your beloved childhood friend, Régine Chassagne. Yay. Another round of applause. So, Régine, you want to come a little closer?
Yes, let's come closer.
Let's get closer. So, Régine, now, no slouch in her own right. I don't know, do you know many indie rock Haitian women who rock the stage and go to the Grammys and rock it out? You play xylophone, you play, I lost the list.
A lot more than xylophone.
Oh, it wasn't xylophone? Okay, give me a couple of the instruments that you play.
Drum kit, you know,
Just
anything.
yeah.
Keyboards, accordion.
Just anything.
Yeah.
Okay, I can play the flute. The recorder, not even the precursor to the flute. So don't say it like it's just that easy. But Régine, you're a multi-instrumentalist. You're a singer, you're a songwriter, a musician, and you're co-founder of Arcade Fire with your husband, Win. That is, as I mentioned earlier, 2011 was a great year for you all. Your third album won a Grammy, it won a Juno Award, and a Brit Award. So you were winning across the world, across the globe. US, Canada, and Britain, and that was your third album. But what I really loved when I read about your bio is that $1 of every concert that you have goes to what? Tell us, please.
Oh, well, we've been doing this since the beginning of our band. Even actually, because I hang out with a bunch of punk rockers, and there was like this ethos of every time you make a little show in a loft, you'd bring that was in 2002, bring cans of food, and you always give to the
always
local,
giving back.
Always giving back.
Mm-hmm.
And when the band started taking off, people were trying to ask me if I wanted to support this, support that, and really quick I had to figure out, wait, what? I don't want to just pretend and just be a face of something for a week and then another face of something else for a week. I said, no. It's going to be Haiti. It's going to be all Haiti.
So, Kabela.
Yeah.
So, vous décidez.
Yeah.
Si n'a bay, c'est Haïti n'a bay.
Oh.
En premier.
Oui.
Plus important.
Always.
Can we give that a round of applause? Because that's a model of service that I think we all have in our hearts. Haiti first and foremost.
Oh yeah, and I've been kind of bargaining myself, just if you want me at your thing, you have to give to Haiti, you have to give to KANPE. I'm not showing up unless you show something, a little love.
So imagine, ladies, if everywhere we went and somebody wanted our talents, and somebody wanted our time, and somebody wanted our treasure, and somebody wanted us to come speak, we said, in order to get me, you have to write a check to some organization in Haiti. And it doesn't matter who you are, where you are, you have somebody in demand for you. Just wanted to drop that little gem right there, just based on the model that you just shared. So thank you, chapeau bas to you, for giving that inspiration. And don't be shy, how many millions of dollars have you raised for Haiti with that $1 effort?
I stopped counting, but I know that a while ago it was 3.5 million, but it's probably more now.
The power of one. You feeling inspired yet? All right. So not only have you found a way to find your voice as a musician, you found a way to infuse your love of Haiti, to help empower Haiti economically, but you also, I'm going to come back to it, but you also wrote a song about Haiti. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to come back to what that song was about and what that ties to your personal history. So let me pivot over to you for a second, Dominique. Like I mentioned earlier, you play, and I can relate, you play in a male-dominated industry. So tell me a little bit about your early influences, So there was a moment where you were not a public figure, and then something happens and you become a public figure. All of us are on a journey, and whether or not you ever become a well-known figure or not, you're moving through your story, through your journey, and it's never as rosy on that journey as it is at the final destination. And anyone who has been in the spotlight has a lot of behind-the-scenes roadkill behind them, a lot of untold battles and struggles. So I know I've seen so much on my journey through the political landscape in America. Tell us a little bit about that behind-the-scenes journey for you as a woman in politics in Canada.
So thank you. Thank you for the question, Karen. There's no question that there are so many hurdles that you have to overcome. But I guess the most fundamental thing for me was always like what my parents gave me in terms of values. And those values I carry with me everywhere I go. I was raised by two Haitians who could not live in Haiti because of dictatorship. My father was a prisoner in Haiti, and he had to...
We have young people here, so give us an era in time.
So in 60...
Because everything we say, they think is like 1865. So tell them, we're ancient dinosaurs to them.
So my parents... So my parents came to Canada in 69, so I was born in 74.
1969, not 1869.
And because my father was a political prisoner, he was really engaged in the community in Canada. And
sorry to keep interrupting you. Political prisoner from whom?
From Jean-Claude Duvalier.
Okay.
He was arrested, baby doc. He was arrested, sent to jail, was supposed to be killed, but then was released and sent back to Canada, never to set foot again. So
that's how you were born in Canada?
I was born in Canada. That's how I was born and raised in Canada. And my mom followed my dad, obviously. But I was raised by people that had such a social conscience. My mom wrote a thesis that was, the name of the thesis was The Work of Women in Haiti, or How Men Become Rich.
Ooh. There's a lot to unpack there. First of all, did you state the name of your parents? Because there are many people in the room that might have known and grown up with them here.
Yeah, my parents. So my father is Georges Anglade, and my mother is Mireille Neptune Anglade.
Okay. See?
And my mom asked me, when I was very young, she asked me the question, who is poorer, Dominique, than the poorest man in the poorest country? I'm like, well, and she said, his wife.
Wow.
And every time I think of any situation I'm in, I'm always thinking, what's the impact on women? What's the impact on female? And the other element in my upbringing that was really important was my dad. And I just want to tell you just a little anecdote about something that happened when I was young. In 1984, because I'm going to
Right, you have to tell them.
Dates.
Yes, 19. Yes.
In 1984 in Canada, the Pope came to Montreal, and I was
Pope John Paul.
Pope John Paul came to Canada, and I was delegated from my school to go and meet the Pope. And you can imagine in a traditional Haitian family what it meant. My grandmother, you know, they had prepared everything for me, the dress and everything. I was like so elegant, but I had prepared a question for the Pope. And when I saw the Pope, I had like just a few seconds, and I just went to him and I said, could I be Pope myself? And obviously he did not answer. But what happened afterwards was that when I came home, and it was on TV, they saw me on TV, my grandmother was crying, I was like, you know, they had seen the Pope, etc. And my father is like, what's wrong, Dominique? I said, Papa, je pourrais pas être pape. I won't be able to be Pope. And he did not answer because he knows I won't be Pope. And my father told me, Dominique, forme-vous qui choisit. C'est pas le pape qui décide qui va être pape. It's not the Pope who gets to decide who's going to be Pope. If you want to be Pope, you can be Pope yourself.
Yes.
So
Let's give an applause for Dad in heaven.
But I'm talking to all the fathers, the men, the sons that we have, the brothers that we have. You have no idea what a phrase like this does to a little girl in the world, a little black girl in the world, and the impact it has on her life for eternity. So I think it's a message that is really strong and this is what I carry in everything that I do.
So what I heard you just say is that your father spoke life into you. He sowed a seed of promise into you. His confidence in you gave you confidence in yourself and your life journey, busting through doors, regardless of whether you were invited or not. Shirley Chisholm used to say, if there's no seat at the table, bring your own folding chair. Sounds like she's been carrying around her own folding chair all her life. So chapeau bas to you. And what I loved as well is that you said it's important that the people we elect have the right mindset and the right mission in their heart. Because it's not about being l'honorable, it's not about the perks, it's not about all this, it's about when they walk into that room of power, are they representing me, my interest, and the community's interest to their full extent? And she said she never works without trying to infuse the empowerment of women. We need more women in leadership that have an agenda to lift up and empower and make policy and laws, right, that are going to impact our lives. So thank you. Thank you for doing that.
Karen.
Thank you for saying that, and thank you for standing in your truth. I really just love, I'm so inspired by everything you shared, and there's more we're going to dig into. But I'm going to go back over here to our multi-instrumentalist. You can still have time to learn xylophone, you know, it's not too late, okay?
No, I play xylophone too.
All right, put that on the to-do list.
I do.
So obviously, music is one of your passions, and it is your gift, and it is your talent, amongst many others. I'd like to know a little bit about how you have, if you have in your music reflected on Haiti, and if so, when and why?
I always do. I slip it in. You know,
because it's indie rock. Like, I don't know how you do indie rock with Haiti, but
I
go
know.
ahead, explain it to us.
I know where it is. I put it in there. I put it in the rhythm. I always construct songs so you can. Okay, so for example, there's a song called Creature Comfort, and it has like my obsession. I was like, okay, you have to be able to dance to it both ways. You have to be able to, somebody will listen to this and just like trash their head around, and also you can totally dance hall to it. And it's just like finding the common denominators and the beats. It's kind of like architecture, but I love doing that. And I just weave things inside it.
That's very creative, but I know, like Dominique, you ended up being born in Montreal because your family had a story as well, and I believe you had a song that you wrote at least about Haiti.
Yes.
That reflected on, if not your direct relatives, then at least on the suffering of Haiti. So can you tell us a little bit about that? What was the name of the song and what it was about?
Well, on our first album that we wrote, even before we thought I would be a musician full-time.
So before you were a public figure, before everybody knew your name.
This is our first album we're making. There's going to be a song called Haiti for sure in it. So like I wrote the song called Haiti, and it was about the story mostly of my family, who like from both sides, they both got, a lot of them got killed and taken to Fort Dimanche. So
let me tell the babies that during the 50s, 60s, and 70s, between François Duvalier, Papa Doc, and Jean-Claude Duvalier, Baby Doc, that there was an era of political oppression and terror that drove thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of Haitians who could flee the country to leave for their lives. Those who were politically active or speaking out against it, either they lost their lives or made it out, as your dad did, just barely by the skin of their teeth. And so this is part of your family story on mother and father's side.
Yes,
and can you say what Fort Dimanche was?
Story if you want a little bit. I can tell you because they're different. So on my mother's side, my mother was from Jérémie, so she was coming back from the market, and they sent a little boy, tell her like, just don't come back.
Hold on, Regine is soft-spoken, so I need everyone listening, please.
And so they killed all her cousins and everything, so she had to leave, and so she always talking about the trauma of being la douane to see if they had her name on the passport, and my dad also on his side. The Makuts came in the house and they searched the house and they found an address book and they looked at the names and they were like, oh, you know so and so, so you come with us. And then we never saw him again. Well, I wasn't even born, but they never saw him again. And for like 10 years, they didn't know if he was alive or not. But then they learned that he had been killed the same day.
I'm so sorry.
So both my parents met and they fled. And I had uncles who were like on the runway, great uncles who were on the runway. And he was telling me the story that he was on the runway and they was like, okay, the pilot is they called the pilot, like, you have Albert Chassagne there, you need to turn around. And the pilot turned around and he said, I'm sorry, we're on our way, like I can't turn back. And it was like this close.
Wow.
This close, and he just made it.
Wow. So again, so you had family fleeing the political persecution. They're on their plane. They're breathing a sigh of relief. And yet, at that very moment, the authorities are still trying to get the plane to not take off. And the pilot made the decision.
Pilot was like on the jet.
Oh, sorry, can't hear you. I'm taking off. Sorry.
Taking off. Yeah.
And that's how your family survived.
Some of it, yeah.
Some of them.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So for those of you who know a scant part of Haitian history, you've heard the term Tonton Macoute, you heard about the persecution, sit down with someone today. Ask anyone if they were alive, if they have family impacted, and really take the time to learn about it, because we dare say that a large part of the Canadian Haitian diaspora was formed as a result of the political terror and persecution that was happening, correct? Would that be fair to say?
Absolutely, and that's actually how Régine and I know each other, because our parents were friends, and so we've known each other since we were born. Right?
So your parents were friends in Haiti, and then
they became friends in Montreal.
Oh, they became friends in Montreal.
And because Haiti is Haiti, we have common cousins.
Before that, they met.
Also.
Yeah. True. I know. But before that, they met in New York, my parents, because my dad got to the U.S. and it was like 66 or 8, I don't know. He got drafted to go to Vietnam.
Oh my God!
Like,
so he flees Baby Doc and then gets drafted to go fight the American war that he has no idea about. Wow!
Oh, that's his Régine. That's Régine that you're seeing.
Which one is Régine?
Régine is. I'm on top of her head like this.
Oh, okay.
I'm doing this.
I think I'm seeing through time in that photo.
So your dad gets drafted?
He was drafted. He went to Vietnam. And he was like, and he's not a soldier type at all. He's more. So his trick was, he was like, I'm going to take training after training. So he was training to repair radios and training. And I was like, no, you got to go. And then you had to go. But he was a radio operator.
Oh, very interesting story.
Yeah.
So to bring it back a little bit, because I'm seeing so many full circle moments here, right? We're talking about the influence of the political oppression and how it drove two families to a whole new country, how they met and built community amongst other expats, and how they themselves became their own leaders in their own right. Now, you did it in the political space, and given it seems like you came from a family that was political in nature, I could see that. But was there something in your family that drew you to music and art and culture, or was it just naturally your own development, Régine?
I don't know where it comes from. Really, it's a mystery. My friends make fun of it. Just, I don't know. I'm so I can get so annoying with music because I see it like
it's everywhere.
I just see it everywhere.
I know an artist in my family. I can relate.
Yeah.
Trust me.
So, but I'm not sure because I don't have a
Well, let me
particular-
ask you this. Both of you have found a way to uplift Haiti in your individual work, but another full circle moment is the two childhood friends with the hand on the head decided, having not grown up in Haiti, to found an organization, to co-found an organization to uplift Haiti.
Yeah.
Now, did you have the luxury of going back and forth to Haiti for vacations or no?
So I did go back and forth to Haiti for vacation, but when the dictator left, Duvalier left in '86, my parents decided to go back. So I lived in Haiti from the age of 14 to 17.
Okay.
And after 17, I went back to pursue my studies in Canada. And at some point in time in my life, so it's not at some point in time, it was in 2009, I thought, you know, there's something that I want to do for Haiti, something that is more important, that is more significant. I don't know exactly what I didn't know exactly what at that moment, and that's when Régine's dad called my dad and said,
No, I called my dad.
oh, okay, go-
I called my dad to call you.
My dad.
Dad.
Yeah.
To call you to call me.
yeah. So we had
Were you a
la-
puppet master pulling the strings in the background?
we had lost track of each other, and I was not living in Montreal. Went back to Montreal, and we make a long story short. In July 2009, we got together and we say, let's do something for Haiti. Let's do something, and that's how we came up with the KANPE organization.
And so this was just an organic desire to connect with the homeland, right? Not spurred by any one event per se, but just a love having spent time and lived in Haiti. And so yourself, is there something, did you go back to Haiti before?
No, because my mom was so traumatized. I mean, she couldn't, the whole life, she was just like having nightmares and all that stuff. So it was just like a no, no, no. Like, we are not going,
So you never went back to Haiti?
No.
So, but you stayed so connected and still inspired to Haiti to the point that you would found an organization. How?
Well, I had to, she passed, and so when she passed, I just went, and I didn't tell anyone. I didn't ask I didn't ask if it was the right time to go, because it's never the right time. So I just went.
So that sounds like it could be a real adventurous story. Did somebody know you? This is what my mother was. Did somebody know that you were coming and received you? It's not like you could just get Uber in Haiti. Comment on fait dégager?
I actually went with Zami La Santé and Paul Farmer. So like I went, first time I went straight in the Plateau Central. I went straight in the mountains, dans les petits cafés. I went like straight, we went through the hospital.
So you skipped a step. So if you even knew about Zami La Santé, that means somehow you were introduced to them. How did you get introduced to Zami La Santé?
Parce que when we started our band, we started raising money for Haiti, so we found Zami La Santé, Partners in Health, and then I read the book Mountains Beyond Mountains.
Okay.
I met Paul Farmer.
Okay. Rest in peace, Paul Farmer.
Rest in peace, Paul Farmer. And so that's why. And so we went right after Hurricane Jeanne.
Yeah. Okay, that might have been 2004?
2008. And we were like in the mountains.
You were in Plateau La Centrale, that's my area.
No, and the car broke down and the bridge was taken down.
Sounds like Haiti. You had an experience, you had an
and
adventure.
we had to cross on a little piece of wood, the river at midnight. Anyway, it was like, okay, welcome.
Welcome to, we call it bain de feu. Well, what's with baptism by fire? Baptême de feu. Sorry, my French is not what it should be.
Yeah.
All right, so ladies, okay, got it. So you went back and lived for 3 years. You connected to the culture. It stayed in your heart. Obviously, your parents as well. You were inspired by Paul Farmer and Zami La Santé. You went and did your baptism by fire. But then you decided in 2009 to start to put together the concept to build an organization. And what was the name and what was the purpose of the organization?
So the name was KANPE.
What does that mean?
Means to stand up.
Okay.
And
Right.
it's an organization, and we thought right at the beginning, well, given our background, we thought we need to support vulnerable underserved communities with strong women. So it's really focused on women, where you fight, like basically what you want to do is to bring autonomy. You want families to become autonomous by working on healthcare, education, agriculture in remote locations. So that's
let me ask you, why the focus on women?
Because they're the potomitan. I mean,
I just wanted to hear you say it. I just,
I mean, is there any doubt in your mind if the country was run by women, it would be different today? It's obvious.
Sorry, fellas.
Like, one of the numbers that really struck me today was 2.5%, because that's the number of women that we have in politics in Haiti. Well, no wonder we have issues. No wonder. I mean, we need, like, if you want to, my father told me on Mondays, if you want to fix a problem, you need to ask a woman. And that's just, so KANPE to us was really important to do the work with the women on the ground, like, because you're helping the whole community, you're supporting the whole community. And maybe one more thing that's really important is, it's not an organization that comes out of Canada or out of any country and tells Haitians what to do.
Thank
it's
you.
Haitians
Thank
making
you.
the decisions on the ground.
Thank you. Love that. Bravo. Ayi bobo.
Ayi bobo.
Did I tell you guys a story about the time I went to my mother's concert and I had to introduce something, and it was a you got to know your audience, right? And so there's Christian. Did I tell you the story last year? So, I say what I say, and it's like a Christian audience, so you got to read the room. So at the end, because I had just started listening to Bookman, so at the end I'm like, "Ayi babo!" Crickets. So I get backstage, and my sister, who's 14 years younger than me, and my Thea is like, "Nenen, there's a bunch of protestants out there. Why would you do that?" So I always hesitate with my ayi bobo, but yes, ayi bobo. Okay, back to the story at hand. Oops, sorry. Okay, I'm watching the time. All right, ladies, so KANPE, nous KANPE, 2009 or 2000, what year? And
2009.
So tell me about what the atmosphere around the standing it up.
Okay.
Okay.
I can start somewhere.
Okay.
So when I was justement in the Plateau Central with Paul Farmer.
3 minutes.
3 minutes, my
I
God.
had to clarify. Oh, it went from 10 to 3. I'm over 10. Oh. All right, I got this, ladies. Where were you? You say in the work of KANPE that it's tied a lot to the earthquake. So tell us, what's that connection, if you can? Or you started in 2009, the planning. The earthquake happened at the top of 2010. Did that throw your plans off? How? If so, how?
So that's when I get emotional.
It's okay. Your sisters are here. We got you. We got you.
So January 17, 2010, we're supposed to really launch the big strategic...
January 17th.
2010, we're supposed to launch the big strategic launch of KANPE. But then January 12th, so 5 days sooner, the earthquake happens. And I'm in my office at McKinsey and watching the news, knowing that my parents are in Haiti. So I'm going to call them and find out what happened, I'm like, oh, not too worried. But to make a long story short, in the earthquake, I lost 4 members of my family. I lost my mom, my dad, my uncle, and my cousin who was 24. And when that happened, you're like totally devastated, for obvious reasons. My parents were the first 2 Canadians to be identified in the earthquake. So it's all over the news. And the media, they knew where I lived. They're in front of my house and asking me for interviews. And like it's something that is out of this world that's happening in Haiti. And I didn't know what to do. I remember thinking like just completely shocked. And you could only imagine the phone calls and everything. But then I called Haiti and I finally spoke with my
aunt, and I want to do a shout out to my aunt Dolores, who had just lost her son.
In the earthquake.
In the earthquake, and she was in Haiti. And she said, we cried a lot on the phone, but then she told me, Dominique, there's nothing we can do for the people that are dead. But we can do so much more for the ones that are alive. And I thought, if my aunt, who just lost her son, is capable of telling me this, I have no right to feel, well, yes, I have the right to feel sorry for myself, but I have no right to not to do something.
Right.
And I was telling the team, the KANPE team that we were forming at the time, is if KANPE was worth our while before the earthquake, well, imagine after the earthquake. And so we went.
What courage.
We went full spin. We went full spin.
So what did that look like in the days after the earthquake?
I can't. I mean, it's
just,
it's hard. It's
there's
hard
lots
to
of
remember.
Full circle moments here.
But and Régine was like on her side, like she was. I mean, we were just in.
I know we're at time. I know we're at time.
No,
Go ahead, Régine.
I was just like, I'm going. I'm like ready to go. I just organize, like we're launching KANPE. We're gonna have the biggest launch with a show, like in the plein l'Abraham avec 50,000 personnes. Like we're gonna do like press. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. I was like, I was fired up.
The power of being able to even stand up, pun intended, right? As an individual, much less decide you're going to stand up for the nation while you're mourning and grieving. And in full transparency, we had another full circle moment in prepping for this conversation. And I'd like for you to, as we close, because I know we're over time, tell about the full circle moment, because it tells us how anything you do, you never know. It's like your art, your work, you put it out there in the universe, you never know where it will land, you never know who it will inspire, you never know who it will touch or motivate or empower in the darkest moments in their lives. So Dominique, would you mind telling the story, and then we're going to close out.
As I was meeting with Karen, I was saying 2 weeks after the earthquake, we had the funerals for my parents in Montreal, and I thought we needed a song, we needed something to get everybody connected, and I knew the song in my head, but I didn't have not the lyrics, but the notes or anything. I'm not a musician. So I called up Régine and I said, Régine, I'm going to sing you the song. Can you just come up with the notes so we can give it to the musicians so they can play at the funerals? And I'm sharing this with Karen this week, and the song was Alléluia for Haïti, Alléluia pour Haïti. And I found out that in that moment, that it's the mother of Karen that came on with that song.
That wrote that song. So
and
the daughters of two activists never met before, right, are having this surreal moment in prepping to inspire you all, and we get share de poule because I'm realizing that's something my mother put out into the universe, touched her in the darkest times.
And I think she's in the room.
Is she?
She is in the room.
Bon. Régine, what do you think, Régine? What do you think we should do?
Okay.
Mom, did you know that in the darkest time,
so in our
your
darkest
music
moment,
and your art inspired them? Oh, okay, I didn't even have to ask. So I think we're going to go into Alléluia pour Haïti. She's never not ready. So I think we should all camper pour nous chanter. On nous applaudit, mesdames sayo.
Pour toute femme haïtienne, pour toute femme haïtienne qui a plité, pour toute femme haïtienne qui attendait à ça, a commencé sous Michel Montas, que je connais bien. 4 mesdames sont parlé là. Mesdames sayo, pour moi, c'est ambassadrice de masse peuple là. 4 mesdames. Quand à pour 2 mesdames ça yo touché cœur en pile. Eh bien je dis L'aime fin de tout le monde ça yo. M'gè courage. M'pas décourager. Nous-mêmes dans la diaspora, c'est nous qui porter pays.
Amen.
C'est nous qui porter Haïti sous dos nous.
Amen.
Et puis nous pas décourager, même là nous te connaissons débattre un petit caille pour nous dar bon petit café un jour, nous pas avoir espoir, mais la venir. Soleil là derrière moi non. Femme haïtienne nous c'est potomitan. Dans toute bagaille c'est où marcher devant. Ou qu'on lité à petite sans papa. Dans pays Paula, dans pays sans secours. Femme haïtienne, campé pour nous parler. L'histoire déjà montré. Pour demain belle, faut passer à l'action. Femme haïtienne, l'histoire déjà montré. Nous te collé pour gros bataille premier l'indépendance.
Alléluia.
Toute femme haïtienne ça y est là, on a dit alléluia pour la femme haïtienne. Alléluia. 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 Alléluia pour Haïti. Allez, allez. Alléluia. On quand même balancer, quand même. Alléluia, quand même balancer. Alléluia. Alléluia pour femme haïtienne. Allez, allez. Alléluia. Quand même balancer. Alléluia. Alléluia. Alléluia pour Haïti. Pour vent liberté cap soufflé. Pour drapeau justice cap flotter. Pour cloche l'espoir cap sonner. Alléluia. Pour tout habitant pral joindre terre. Ak outils pour travailler la terre. Pour tout le monde qui a mangé. Alléluia. Les a sonné, les a sonné. Les arrivés. Pour nous planter des étoiles dans le ciel, nous. Pour nous barrer la même allée, nous. Marie Pénètre, les a sonné, les a sonné. Les arrivés. Ensemble, n'a fait miracle. Alléluia pour Haïti. Tout le monde ensemble. Alléluia. 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 Alléluia pour Haïti. Côté yo, femme tendez nous. Alléluia. Alléluia. C'est ça. Alléluia pour Haïti. Allez, allez, alléluia. 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 Pour Haïti. Femme haïtienne, c'est cajou.
Way back when we started playing shows and venues started to sell out when Funeral came out, I realized that I had to help Haiti. So we started giving $1 per ticket at every show.
I wanted to let you know that $1 from each of the tickets tonight is going to an organization called Partners in Health. They do incredible work in Haiti.
Partners in Health have been working in Haiti for almost 30 years. They essentially are building a health system for Haiti. So we really support their work, and we also support another organization, KANPE.
KANPE is just really being super thorough of where you put the money. We accompanied 551 families that have been through the program, and we've brought many things to the community, like a lot of help to the youth, also a meal and agricultural support.
In March 2016, we distributed 9,000 pounds of black beans. 250 members got seeds, and the organization now is able to give seeds every year to 200 farmers.
Anywhere they go, they're advancing the cause of health and social justice by bringing our message to a crowd that we just wouldn't have access to.
Arcade Fire, we've been supporting Haiti for more than 10 years. I'm just so happy to see the results that I've experienced.
Ou ap di merci KANPE, mais moi dis félicitations ou même parce que c'est ou même qui change Baito.
It's extremely powerful. The ripple effect from just our fan community has been astonishing.
We have the best fans. It's kind of amazing. We go to shows and there are people that sign up to be volunteers and they give information and they collect extra donation. People who get that money really, really can use it. Changes their lives, literally.
You can see this whole area is completely, totally full of pregnant women and children. And you know, you can't imagine how really useful your help to save the life of these people in this country.
We've been doing this $1 per ticket thing for a while now, so we decided to try and make it more organized, and so it's called +1 now. We've raised like a couple $1 million just doing nothing but showing up at shows, so it's all your money. We want to thank you for it. Thank you so much.
Merci.
It would get a little depressing if this is all just about music. There's a much bigger world out there, so we really appreciate your support.